Oh, I forgot to change an image there. I did not take a picture of that graduate there. It was a placeholder shot that I forgot to put in there. Okay, tip number 3, provide critiques to your images. And this is something I tried for the first time yesterday as I thought about this prompt. By the way, thank you, Christy. My wife just brought me a coffee from town. Uh, Please provide a critique of this image based on standard photography conventions. And so all I'm asking Chat GPT to do is, and let me switch back. I'm going to take this picture here, this longhorn, shot it on the Redlands Ranch and Western Wildlife Experience. I know what I like about it. I know what I don't like about it. I'm curious to see what Chat GPT says about it. And again, if you look at the prompt, please provide a critique of this image based on standard photography conventions. And what I mean by standard photography conventions are what we all accept as being good composition, what we all accept as being good lighting and good angles and all that, and just all the things that you might get judged upon if you're in a camera club and you're doing photography competitions. I'm just asking for a critique. And so this is the picture I chose. And to show a demonstration, okay, I'm going to add photos. Uh-oh, I got to go hunting for this one. Give me just a second. Oh, here we go. Redlands Ranch, that's where it'll be. Let me find it real quick. I forgot to put it. There it is right there. So I'm going to upload that picture. And I'm going to say, please provide a critique of, oops, misspelled critique, of this image based on standard photography. What's the word I used? Uh, I'll just put considerations or convention.
Conventions.
Conventions is what I use. Yep. Thank you. Okay, please provide a critique of this image based on standard photography conventions. I'm going to ask Chat GPT about it. Again, that image I created with my own camera and post process it. And then it's going to give you an overall impression here. And this is what I found to be pretty amazing when I did this. It's going to tell me the composition. It thought it was a 9 out of 10. I shouldn't put any thought into what a machine tells me, but I thought it was the best composition when I took it. And so it just reinforces what I say. Talks about why that's a good composition. And then it also talks about here's some things you might want to consider next time you take it. The area comes close to the right edges. I knew that going in, that animal was close and I was as wide as I could get the camera. And I was against the fence, so I couldn't back up anymore without getting the fence in it. Uh, and then it says the foreground occupies roughly a bottom quarter of the frame. We'll go back and look at this picture in a minute. And then it says the lighting is 8.5 out of 10. The lighting is when it was it's because the angle of the animal, it says there it's partly shaded. Again, some of the critiques it's given me, while valid, it's not like I could go out and move the animal. So you got to take some of this with a grain of salt. But as a way to just look at your pictures from a third party standpoint and be able to analyze them critically, uh, I think it's a good way to learn. I really do. And then focus and sharpness talks about that. Color 9 out of 10, perspective 10 out of 10, background 8.5 out of 10. And this is my big critique of the picture, but there's nothing I could do about it. It talks about the second cow in the background, or there's a bull in the background standing behind the cow that's a little distracting. If I had it, if I had my way and I could directed those animals, I would have told it, I'd have moved that bull out of the way to just have the cow standing there. And we'll go back and look at the picture in a minute. And then it gives you some editing suggestions on what you can do using in Lightroom. And then again, it gives you a rundown what makes it image successful. Uh, it'll tell you there. And so again, I think from just a critiquing standpoint and a learning about your images standpoint, it's going to be pretty valuable. So here's let me go backwards. Here's the picture again. Now this is cropped a little bit from the original just because it's got to fit inside the frame that I'm showing you right now. So the toes are cropped a little bit and the horn is cropped a little bit. The original picture had a little bit more space around it. It wasn't a lot more space, but a little bit more space. But again, when I looked at this picture, when I took the picture, my big critique uh, is that bull in the background. There's nothing you can do about it, but it just accept that it's there. But I will take one thing that I didn't think about when I post-process image that to heart that AI just suggested. If I'd have put a radial gradient right over the eye, I could have brightened the eye up a little bit and gave a little more pop to it. Maybe even brought it, filled in a little bit more of the shadow. So it's not, you can still see detail, but you can see, you could bring some of that out in it and, it would maybe make the image pop a little more. I'm happy with the picture as it is. I'm not going to go back and change it based on what AI told me. But if you're trying to learn and you're trying to, just think of, get I think as Eleanor Roosevelt said, it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. I use not only all the brains I have, but all that I can borrow. If you've ever been on a workshop with me before, you know I'm genuinely curious about other people's experiences and what other people have done for a living and what made them successful in their various fields. And because I'm always looking for that little nugget that helps me out in my day-to-day decision making. And I think AI is just one of those other brains you can use. But you got to remember, what's eerie about the systems is they're sounding more and more human-like, but they're not people. And so you got to take some of what it says with a grain of salt and always check for accuracy too. So with that said,